Greetings and salutations. I am Dan Williams, and today I am going to be reviewing the Canon 90D, which I'm recording with right now, and my first day with the monstrosity Sigma 60 to 600 millimeter lens. This thing is absolute ginormous monstrosity. Weighs about 6 pounds. It was great. I've been shooting it. This thing handheld down on the Pismo Beach Pier, shooting the surfers, and it's been absolutely wonderful, absolutely amazing. Between the Canon 90D and this lens, and even when I was back on my old 70 to 200 millimeter f4, the old Canon f4 USM, not even image stabilized, and that was also quite incredible. So much faster. Every lens that I own is so much faster on this Canon 90D than it was on my previous cameras. Previous cameras that I've used are the Canon 30D, Canon 70D, and then 60D when my 70D died, and then now on the 90D, and this is by far the best, as should be expected, of course. You wouldn't want Canon to go backwards. Not that in some ways they haven't gone backwards by getting rid of the 24p, not yet going to the dual card slots, and a few other things. Yeah, but I generally don't have haven't had too many complaints with this Canon 90D. I've been really happy about it. Now, one of my biggest complaints is in the menu. In order to switch over to 120 frames per second in the 1080 120, you have to activate another menu, or activate an item to get the high speed, instead of just selecting it like you do every other frame rate and resolution. Canon created this extra step, and it's kind of annoying. It's not necessary. Hopefully in the next firmware they'll get their heads together and simplify things. Okay, apparently my 150 megabyte per second card is too slow. I think I'm actually going to switch over to 1080 from this 4K. So I think I'm shooting in 4K. So, down resolution. Okay, now I'm in 1080p, still on 30 frames. Do you notice any difference? Any change from the 4K in the previous shots to this 1080 here now? Probably not. I saw somebody, I think it was, wasn't Chris Howe, might have been Matt, last name can't pronounce, one of Peter McKenna's friends, that did a comparison of 4K to 1080 to 720, and there's hardly any difference noticeable, at least not on YouTube, even with a 55-inch TV. Well, a YouTube that can't, internet that can't get full streaming, full stream 4K. But anyways, let's get on to the review and looking at the photos and stuff that I've taken, photos and video, on the from the Canon 90D with both the 7200 and the 6600. So I'm going to jump down to the computer. Got OBS going. Alright, so starting off, got down to the surfers here. Started off a little slow, got the guys back on. But you see, it does occasionally lose face tracking, lose the recognition. But for the most part, it holds on very well. On the first day with the 70 to 90 or the 70 to 200, I managed 340 clear photos out of 800. Face tracking on the Canon 90D is absolutely incredible. Almost half the shots were perfectly clear in focus on the surfers' faces, which is really important. Though of course it did often catch behind, it tried to focus behind or off to the side, catch the water instead of the surfers. Trying to shoot the pelicans in flight was especially difficult with either lens. So go through sorry for the previous video upload that was just photos. Actually, do you want to pull up? I think I'm going to pull up a few of the best shots here. Here we go. Let's zoom in and take a look. See how clear it is on her face. Look at that. Zoom in. Whoop, not the right spot. But see how focused her eyes. That is 8:1 zoom. Let's head back to 1:1. But you can see all the details, and I am quite a distance. This is at 200 millimeter here, and so it's probably close to 100 feet. Easily 100 foot distance, and it's so incredibly clear. It's fast at 10 frames per second is incredible for catching the fast motion. Absolute mind-boggling what this camera is capable of. I cannot think of any reason not to use this camera, not to get this camera for sports action, for really anything. I mean, I'm sure there's some reason somebody's gonna say, oh, you get the full frame, or why didn't you get the M6, or yeah, it's the M6 Mark II, the mirrorless version of this same camera. Reason, tilty flippy screen, the screen that flips out to the side. I like the grip of the DSLRs more. They're bigger, sturdier in the hand, and I'm used to it. I've been using the 20D, 30D, 70D, 60D. It's all the same. Actually, I even used the 40D a few times, borrowing somebody's 40D. It's a really good camera, the 90D. As you see here, we're a little bit off focus, and then we get back into focus somewhat. Let's see how this one is. I mean, this one's out of focus on his face, but that is because I don't even know where it managed to pull focus. Sometimes it doesn't quite get it, and especially with this being showing you the first day, just learning the camera, trying to get all the settings right, figure out which autofocus to use, which I think I ended up ultimately using AI servo. For these first shots, I was doing one shot. I was accidentally in the one shot mode, which is much slower with autofocus. You just still see how well. Yeah, it's got to load in. Yeah, see how clear his face is? You can see the beard hairs, his hair on his head. It's absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, I don't have my external hard drive with me, so I don't have the rest of my photos on here, but you can go to my website, WILLIAMSRDAN.us, check out my photos, see the old photos, see what I shot back with the old 30D, which is what my old primary surf photo camera. By the time I got the 70D, I was already moved away and not shooting surf anymore, because there was no surf to shoot up in Humboldt County, Northern California. But down here in Pismo Beach, absolutely incredible surf, especially off the pier. But yeah, that is let's go up here. Let's try to find some other shots. Just give you a quick scroll through. I posted a video of a rough edit, combination of just throwing all the photos together in the video. No music, unfortunately. It's gotten a few thumbs down, but it's also gotten a lot of views, far more than I've had in other videos. I've been on YouTube a lot of years, have a fair few videos, not a lot of subscribers. I think I'm at 370 right now, just hit 370. So, but I'm gonna be doing more, trying to do more. I'm looking to buy an RV even, so start actually doing some traveling, getting around, getting out, getting back into nature, going to car shows, more surf photos. So click the subscribe down below and follow along as I grow and expand this channel into something actually a little more viable. Hopefully it becomes viable, or something a little more interesting than I've done previously. Oops, I accidentally hit the wrong button. But it's just the tack sharpness when it holds is absolutely incredible on this. Though sometimes I do lose it, can't get it at all. This series of shots here. Yes, couldn't find it. Couldn't focus quite fast enough that close up. Shooting straight down from the top of the pier. So that's probably less than, probably around 20-25 feet at most. Granted, the old 7200 is supposed to be able to focus around 6 feet, 6 to 9 feet, something like that. I think I've gotten it maybe closer. Check out my Pelican photos from years past with the Canon 70D. It's absolutely incredible, getting right in on the Pelican's eyes in focus beautifully. Let's go up and check the next day. So here we go now with the Canon, or I should say the Sigma 60 to 600. That's sorted by rating. Okay. Here's some of the Pelicans. Again, with this is at 600 millimeters, f7.1, 12/50th of a second. Get the Pelicans fighting, and then back out to Pismo Beach, the pigeons, and then back to the Pelicans at Dinosaur Caves Park in Shell Beach, just a few miles up the road. You got the Pelican climbing over the other one there. And here's shooting back into Pismo Beach. This shot is a couple miles, probably 2 miles easily, to get this distance. And yeah, there's quite a lot of atmospheric noise because it was a very hot day, and so the ocean's evaporating, because that's what happens with I need to stop this down a little bit. There we go. Let's get that 7.1. Starting to get a little brighter outside. There's the Pismo Pier off to the right there. Back to the Pelicans. Here's, oh yes, flag zoomed out. Here is 60 mils, and there's 600. 60, 600. Quite impressive zoom. And there's 600's guy playing bongos. I'm probably 60 feet away. Oops. Let's edit that part out. Somebody had a kite out there. Forgot to delete those photos of the girls. Just testing out the zoom capabilities. I'm definitely not going to post those anywhere. Just a little fun thing. Just I will be respectful. Some other, there's the Pelican Sea. It's a little bit off. Let's see as it loads in. Check, make sure that's still recording. Yes. Yeah, it's not the sharpest, but for catching a bird in flight quickly is exceedingly challenging. see the difficulty of actually keeping the pelican in focus rather than it catching on the ocean, which is of course far larger target, far much larger target. Zoomed in on the, do I have the full out? Let's switch over to capture time, I think. So you can actually see, let's go back up to the top. What the? Oh, yeah, there's the old test photos. Test photo of my parents' planters through the screen door. I forgot to open the screen door, so that's why this is somewhat hazy. But it still shows pretty good clarity for a 600mm lens at about 15 feet, I'd say. Something like, oh no, I was inside, so 18 feet. 18-foot distance. So I'd say that's pretty good. 60 to 600 in my parents' living room or dining room. Here's our pigeons. It's nice and clear on that eye. Look at that. The eye, and let's load in. Look at the texture, even before it's loaded. Look at that. The detail on those tiny feathers. That's, ooh, there's a little bit of focus there. But look how sharp the texture's there. It's just absolutely incredible. The 32 megapixel is just absolutely beautiful. And then we get back into our surfer. Oh yeah, this was 2 days ago, my second day. So it was extremely windy out at the pier, so the waves were blown out, and you can see all the white caps in this distance shots. There was nobody out surfing, so I ended up shooting more of the pelicans than any surfers as they're flying by. But from the previous shot with the other pelicans, you can see them. It's way out on the other side of this rock, and this is at 151 mils. You can see that distance that we're going between the two places. Massive pelicans. I don't want to go through all 500 or all 600 photos on this, but so let's go zoom around. Yeah, here's a test of zoom from 60, 600. Which is quite incredible zoom range on this thing. Zoom in on the pelican in the sky. Oh, that one's out of focus. Anyways. Yeah, zooming in on the seagulls, more people. View the beach. Here's getting to show you some of the distance for these pigeons. Let's zoom that back out. I ended up sitting down on the ground and scooching in close as slowly as possible to try to not scare them off. But some of them give me a few poses. Take a look at how clear these feathers are when they load in. That was not entirely clear. A little bit of motion blur there. Did take a little bit to find the right image stabilization settings for the Sigma 6600. Depending on how much motion I'm doing. Definitely on, with the tripod, we want it on setting 1. Here, let's pull up the lens. So, here we go. Let's see if it'll focus up close here. We got our image stabilization settings here. Number 2 for motion, number 1 for stills. When I was out at Dinosaur Caves Park shooting the pelicans with the tripod, I put it on 1, and it actually, even with the wind, why was that? Oopsies. Even with all the wind noise, and even with all the wind buffering around the camera, the video, it maintained stability on setting 1. When I had it on setting 2, there was still side-to-side wobble from the wind. Oops, that's hitting the minimum focus, but down here, the lower. The lens I'm currently using is the Kit 1855 IS2. It's the basic lens on the 90D. Let's lock that. Best thing about this lens is the lock feature, so it doesn't turn out, doesn't expand as it's held like that. But it's a great, nice pull feature for this lens. Jared Poland said this thing's heavy. I don't think so, and I'm skinny. Look how scrawny I am. There's no guns here. No guns. This is like Bugs Bunny. He does this, and the muscles drop down, and he just swings the muscle in his arms. There ain't no muscles here. But with this lens and this camera, it's gonna start working up. At least one can hope. So, back to the computer. Yeah, this nice pigeon lifted his wing for me. Nice little pose. Just absolutely incredible how close up I was able to get. I believe this is the 60. Yeah, that's the full 60 to the 600. So you see that difference. Oops. Emergency vehicle running down the beach. More pelicans. Lots of pelicans. Gotta love the pelicans. They are such an amazing creature. So awesome to photograph. I really need to get a neutral density or a variable ND filter. I thought I was buying a variable ND filter, but it turned out to be a solid 1000 ND, which will fit on my 7200. Of course, too small for the Sigma, because that's a 105mm lens, or yeah. And whereas the 7200 f4 is a 67mm, I believe it was, yeah. A few overexposed. Quite difficult to get in there on these pelicans as they're flying over, but yeah, zoom in. Wait, I mean, it's out of focus, but you can still see how close you got to him. Whoops. Won't do. And somebody's drone. Yeah, it's a Phantom 4 that somebody was flying up. Ooh, I think I had... some bird flew by. Let's hit the stop down. Oops, again. Keep our exposure semi decent enough to work with. More of the kite, people, just a bit of waves, people, their dogs, pelicans in the distance flying up. Need to delete those photos of people. Just inappropriate photos. Yeah, go away. Oops, what just happened? I don't know. Okay, now I've moved out to the rock. So let's go back up here. Here. I think, let's see, do I want to put... Yeah, I'll edit some videos in. Let's throw in this 2314. Actually, heck with it. We'll just run them off of Lightroom to give you a demonstration completely. I don't know if it'll capture the in-camera noise, maybe the microphone. So I'm using the Rode Video Mic Go on the Canon 90D. So that didn't have much to it. Let's try this video. When it loads. Or, yeah, there it goes. As you can see, oh, it's not going to play smoothly because I'm recording. Can't very well record screenshots and play video at the same time. This computer's not quite good enough for that. I'm using a Dell laptop. So I guess we'll skip that and I'll edit video into where it needs to go. So, yeah, let's go ahead and watch a few pelicans. we're gonna call that good and hit the subscribe button down below. Let's see. Oh, hey, forget Squarespace. If you want a good, cheap website, $5 a month, unlimited storage, you can use WordPress and a dozen other, or several dozen other apps that are really great. Check out innerserver.com. Use code WILLIAMSRDAN, link down in the description somewhere down below. Get your first month for 1 penny, and you help me out, sponsors me. If you're looking to build a new website and Squarespace is just too expensive for you, check out InnerServer. It's way cheaper, unlimited storage. I use it to back up my photos online. It's much cheaper cloud service, and it's mine. I'm not storing on Google. Actually, I am storing some on Google, some on Dropbox, some on a couple other cloud services. But InnerServer, you're having your own web domain for your own cloud storage, way better. Highly recommend it. That being said, I'd love some donations. Got a lot of work to do. Money, money, money. Welcome to capitalism. We need money in this capitalist society. So that's what we try to do. We try to make money. Hopefully this photography can make me some money, because I just spent a lot on the equipment. So with that all said, happy shooting, and may the chaos of your existence be beneficial.